Hey y'all, welcome back to the 14 Acres. My name is Leslie. It is the last week of April. I'm in North Texas in zone 8A, and today I'm going to be doing the first garden tour of the season. I love to have this documented so I can look back through the seasons, through the years, and see how much things have grown, how much progress has been made. So let's get started. This was my original gardening space 10 years ago when we first bought this place. My garden ended about here, and this was the only space I used. So now this is just a fraction of the garden. As you can see, it has gotten bigger and bigger each season. This year, I'm using this space for some more in-ground gardening. I have a row of cucumbers here that will climb this cattle panel, a row of peppers, and a row of tomatoes. I'm also going to be adding a row probably of okra here on this end within the next few weeks. These are primarily different Japanese varieties of cucumbers. All of the seeds came from Baker Creek, and I have had amazing results with these the last few years of these cucumbers not getting bitter as it gets hot here. That has been my challenge in years past. Here we are on the back side of this area now. This is my prized blackberry patch. This is Prime Arc Freedom, developed by the University of Arkansas. It is a hybrid, thornless. And off this patch here, I normally get anywhere from 4 to 6 gallons of blackberries per year. These are huge, some the size of my thumb. These are the most delicious blackberries. They grow like weeds in my zone. They send out runners under the ground. Canes pop up everywhere. I have literally, if they're somewhere I don't want them to be, I have just pulled them out of the ground, stuck them in some good soil, and they will immediately root and take off. I have a bed of broccoli here that I've been slowly harvesting. This will come out very soon, as well as this bed of cabbage. These do not like the heat, and they will not last too much longer here in the Dallas area. This is my strawberry bed. That is a new bed for me this spring. I've never had great luck with strawberries. The goal this year, I've been plucking off most of the flowers and the small strawberries. My goal for this bed this year is for this to establish good roots and really be a bed that will stand the test of time. So I don't plan on getting a lot of strawberries this year. This is my asparagus bed. This is about the 4th year with this bed. We have been harvesting asparagus and eating it every day. It takes about 3 years for an asparagus bed to get established and before you can really start harvesting. The spears start super tiny like this, just like a thread, and then over time the spears get larger and larger. Have a couple of fig trees here along with a peach tree, and this gives some good late afternoon shade to this part of the garden. The late afternoon sun here in the Dallas area, when we're talking about July, August, September, it will kill just about anything. So things that like to be grown in full sun do not like to be grown in our summer Dallas full sun. I grow in lots of containers, have some herbs. This is to keep the squirrels out that have been digging in my thyme and cilantro here. These are all volunteer sunflowers or reseeded sunflowers from last year. that I'm letting stand. I grew about 5 or 6 different varieties of daffodils this year, and these have just been so fun and so lovely. Lots of things growing on cattle panels. This bed has some garlic that was planted back in the fall, some volunteer sunflowers, and I've also tucked away some lemon cucumbers that I love to grow. They vine like crazy, so they will climb this side of this cattle panel. This bed has some brassicas, some cabbage, some purple cauliflower, some lettuces back there interplanted with some onions. And then these are black coat runner beans that put out these gorgeous red flowers. The pollinators absolutely love them. They will climb this cattle panel from this side, and probably these lemon cucumbers and the runner beans will meet in the middle somewhere. Growing tons of flowers this year. Did a big cut flower addition down there that we have been started building last summer. And then this is the first year to plant down there in that cut flower addition. This square bed, this is about a 4x4 square raised bed with another, these are 16-foot cattle panels that we just get at Tractor Supply. On this side of this bed, I am growing these King Tut purple peas from Baker Creek. See the blossoms are just gorgeous on those. They will not last too much longer. I was probably a little late getting these started this year. Hopefully I can get a few before things heat up too much. And then this is amaranth, and look how beautiful those are that are starting to appear. I'm definitely having a little bug damage here. I have to do a little more research on that. This is some tromboncino squash, which are, it's my first year growing it. They're supposed to be more resistant to the dreaded squash vine borer, which is horrible here in my area. So they also like to vine. So they will be climbing this cattle panel. This is a Sun Gold Select tomato that I started from seed and just had some extras, so I'm growing it here in this little trellis. More vining squash here, some zinnias, some onions, and this is a Kilimanjaro white marigold from Baker Creek. All of these flowers were started from seed. This is one I've not grown before, so super excited to see that. This is bunny tails grass from Floret, and it's just an ornamental grass that puts out these beautiful little tufted, fluffy flowers out of the end. So that should be fun for cut flower arrangements. Growing lots of different sunflower varieties this year. These are some of the single flower varieties for cut flower arrangements. Have another Sun Gold Select, which is my favorite cherry, orange cherry tomato tucked in here. Have a Japanese eggplant here, some more garlic. And then this is all celosia from Floret. A couple of different varieties in this bed here. You can see it's already flowering. Beautiful. I've pinched most of these to help them branch a little more. Another variety here. And this is Cheyenne Spirit coneflower. And I do believe I got these seeds at Johnny's. So super excited about these. I absolutely love echinacea, coneflowers. Can't wait to see it all in bloom. These beds along this back fence are new for this year, and I'm growing melons. I think I'm growing 5 or 6 different melon varieties. You know, melons like to just vine and spread like crazy, and they take up so much room in my bigger raised beds that I decided to just build these along this back fence this year. And then this way, because this space has not really been utilized yet, these can just vine and branch out all through here. So different cantaloupes, honeydews, watermelons. This bed here is several different varieties of bush beans, some dragon's tongue beans, some rattlesnake beans. You can see they are already blooming. I may even have some little beans. These have been in the ground a while, so it won't be long. We'll start getting some bush beans here. More bush beans, more sunflowers, and you can see we're getting really close on some of those. A couple of different squashes tucked in here. This whole bed is different varieties of snapdragons, and we're also getting pretty close on some of those. Should be starting to see some blooms soon. More melons in these two raised beds back here, and with some sunflowers back behind those. This trough is my blueberries, and I have 3 different varieties growing in there. You do need to grow more than one blueberry variety so they can have a pollinator. This is another tomato bed for this year. So I use all different things to cage tomatoes, from these old cages to cattle panel, trellises, you name it, I've tried it. This pollinator bed we built 2 years ago, and as the name implies, everything in here is just for the pollinators. Some milkweeds that are starting to come back up, some black-eyed Susans, Rudbeckia, some more coneflowers in different varieties. And within a couple of weeks, this is just going to be gorgeous. More coneflowers. This is a sombrero red coneflower. Have some kale here. These Vitex trees provide some nice shade for these greens. This is foxglove that is getting so close to blooming. Have more zinnias coming up in these troughs. Then this arbor and these boxes are new for this year as well, and I'll show you what we're growing there. So my husband Paul built this arbor out of cedar, downed cedar here on the property. He also made these big planter boxes. So what I've done here, these are a couple of different daffodil varieties, bulbs that I tucked in around the edge. But on either side, I'm growing a David Austin arbor rose. This is Princess Margareta, and it makes big, gorgeous, peachy orange roses. So I cannot wait to see it climbing this arbor. Paul is going to go back and add some more cross limbs here just to give these roses something else to grab a hold of. So it's going to be beautiful. And this year's Sebastopol goslings all want to say hi. They're stalking me and following me around the garden as I work. I have bluebirds nesting in my bluebird box right there, and they have babies, so I've been trying to stay out of the way. The mom and dad have been flying back and forth feeding the babies. I love to grow in these galvanized tubs. This is some other Rudbeckia, black-eyed Susans, lots more sunflowers. Some of these are volunteers. Look at all these branching ones. You can see all the blooms. So won't be long, y'all. This will be so beautiful. More echinacea in that tub there. This is a cinnamon basil that I'm really growing for the flowers this year. This is some salvia that I started from seed. The goal is to get the pollinators down here, and they love the flowers on these. This is the cut flower edition. So we built this area last summer. Basically, we put down landscape fabric and then load after load of this mulch or wood chips. These were all free. This started as 20 dump truck loads of wood chips that are free from Chip Drop. So if you don't know about Chip Drop, Google Get Chip Drop. I'm pretty sure the website is getchipdrop.com. We'll put you in touch with arborists and tree trimmers in your area who are looking for places to dump their wood chips. And they bring it to you for free. So this was all free. So in this area, we put down initially about a foot of wood chips on top of our landscape fabric. And then we came in with a truckload of a good bedding mix from our local nursery, added some of our own compost to that, as well as some worm castings, those sorts of things, and then growing lots of different cut flowers here. This is all Zinderella peach zinnia from Floret. Cannot wait to see these in full bloom. This is Hortanova netting from Johnny's, and this will just act as a support for the flowers as they come up, help keep them straight. This is a double click cosmos from, I think, I would have to look back. That's either from Johnny's or from Floret. These are going to be beautiful. So all these will be just for cut flowers. This whole row is different varieties of dahlias. Some started from seeds, some started from tubers. And then this whole row is a couple of my very favorite zinnia varieties, giant salmon rose, giant coral. Those are just going to be absolutely gorgeous when they are all in bloom. So that's it. That's the garden for this year, y'all. We will check back in a couple of weeks and show you the progress, which I cannot wait to show you.